Thomas Sterne Eliot and Ezra Pound were one of the many significant writers that came out from the lost generation. They are considered its pillar members. Not only did they change the literary tone of post-World War I and shaped modernism itself, they were also friends, and each of them had their own memorable works. The Wastelands is a poem made by Eliot, and it was regarded as one of the greatest works of the 20th century, and was a central work of modernist poetry. It was published in 1922 in his magazine, The Criterion, and was notable for its unique style of traditional and poetic forms. The poem is divided into 5 sectors, with each sector exploring different aspects of its theme, being spiritual and cultural decay. The overall major theme of the poem itself is the spiritual and cultural decay, as the world is referred metaphorically as a wasteland. The poem also follows a format that resembles fragmentation, as it mimics an aspect of a shattered world, filled with broken narratives and the loss of culture and identity.
Positively indecent.
Look where he did to me.
Your conduct was disgusting. It isn't done. It isn't done. Strangle. Strangle. Indecent. Indecent. And a man dying of thirst. Forget water. Disgusting. You're mad.
Come back soon, won't you? Come back. Come back.
Finally, the last major theme of this poem is the inclusion of sex and relationships, as the sexual encounters in the poem seem almost mechanical, joyless, and feel disconnected from any feelings of love or meaning. The poem was not only unique due to its use of fragmentation as a form and techniques of modernism such as free verse and allusions. In fact, what made this work so special was that the original writing for the poem was not even close to the final product. Ezra Pound was also one of the reasons why the poem was special, as his editing shaped its final form by cutting long passages and refining its focus. In short, the poem itself isn't meant to be a puzzle that must be put together, but rather resembles a mirror to one's experience or feelings after war itself, as it captures the feelings of a person's anxiety and their feelings of fragmentation towards the coming world.
April is the cruelest month, breeding lilacs out of the dead land, mixing memory and desire, stirring dull roots with spring rain. Winter kept us warm, covering earth in forgetful snow, feeding a little life with dried tubers. Summer surprised us, coming over the Starnberger See with a shower of rain. We stopped in the colonnade and went on in sunlight into the Hofgarten and drank coffee and talked for an hour. Bin gar keine Russin, Stamm aus Litauen, echt Deutsch. And when we were children, staying at the Archduke's, my cousin's, he took me out on a sled and I was frightened. He said, Marie, Marie, hold on tight. And down we went.
The Cantos is a long poem made by Ezra Pound that has about 109 sections and was considered an experimental epic that was incomplete with its last 7-page draft, as it was written and published each of its installments throughout 5 decades. The poem itself was considered as his attempt in reconstructing meaning from a broken world after the war by digging through history, critique on modern economics, and seeking wisdom from other countries, all of which in hopes of restoring cultural and spiritual values. The cantos is quite similar to the Wastelands as it represents the spiritual and cultural decay, but whereas Eliot focused on the inner turmoil of an individual, Pound focuses more on his vision of renewing Western civilization. His poem focuses more on critiquing usury, a term for exploitative capitalism by Pound, which was responsible for the destruction of art, culture, and justice. The poem also represents a mirror towards the chaos of the modern world, as its fragmentation reflects the personal confusion and culture after two world wars. Pound somewhat saw himself as a cultural guide, but this was also one of his controversial aspects, as he had support for fascism with his anti-Semitic statements, which were serious moral issues. Although the cantos was considered controversial due to the poet being the problem, the poem can be seen like a cathedral of Western civilization, meant to be massive and aspiring, but was incomplete, causing it to crumble and fall into ruins. It ironically reflects the lost generation's disillusionment as Pound tries to collect its fragments in order to rebuild a civilization. Both writers had their own views and aspects on how they saw the lost generation. Eliot focused more on the inner feelings of the individual while Ezra wanted to rebuild a civilization from its fragments. Although their paths had diverged, their works helped shape modernism as to what it is as of today, and shaped a whole generation of intellectuals and artistic identity.